Second chance under the mistletoe, the ballroom of the Harrington Hotel glowed like a snow globe shaken by careful hands. Crystal chandeliers scattered warm light over evergreen garlands, ribbons of gold, and 1,000 tiny bulbs blinking like patient stars. Outside, December pressed its cold face against the windows. Inside, the annual Christmas charity gala hummed with laughter, clinking glasses, and the quiet hope that came with giving. Lena Hart hadn't planned to stay long. She stood near the entrance, fingers curled around the stem of her wine glass, telling herself she'd make a donation, exchange pleasantries, and slip out before the speeches began. It had been years since she'd attended anything like this, years since she'd allowed herself to step into spaces that carried memories. Then she heard his laugh. It hadn't changed. Still low, still warm, still capable of pulling her backward through time like a sudden current. She turned before she could stop herself. Daniel Mercer stood near the auction table, tall and familiar, his dark hair flecked now with silver at the temples. He wore a charcoal suit instead of the rumpled jackets he used to favor, but his posture slightly leaning forward, as if the world might whisper secrets, was unmistakable. For a moment the room faded. They had once planned a life together. Shared calendars, shared keys, shared dreams scribbled on napkins during late-night dinners. And then, one mistake, one silence had cracked everything open. Daniel felt her gaze before he saw her. He looked up, and there she was. Lena. The name settled in his chest like a bell struck softly but deeply. She wore a deep green dress that caught the light, her hair swept up in a way that revealed the curve of her neck he had memorized long ago. She looked older, yes, but also steadier, as if the years had shaped her into something resilient. Their eyes met. Neither smiled. Not yet. The auctioneer announced a break, and people drifted toward the bar. Somehow, without planning it, Lena and Daniel ended up standing beneath the same archway mistletoe tied with a red velvet bow dangling above them. They noticed at the same time. Lena let out a small, breathless laugh. Of course. Daniel's mouth curved, cautious but genuine. Some traditions are ruthless. Silence stretched thick, awkward, heavy with everything unsaid. You look well, he said finally. So do you, she hesitated. I didn't know you supported this charity. I didn't know you still lived in the city. They exchanged a glance, realizing how ridiculous it was to circle each other with polite questions when the real thing stood between them, aching to be named. I'm glad you're here, Daniel said quietly. Even if it's unexpected. Lena's fingers tightened around her glass. I almost didn't come. I almost didn't either. The music softened nearby, a slow instrumental carol. The mistletoe hovered above them, an uninvited witness. I was wrong, Daniel said suddenly. The words landed between them, fragile and brave. Lena's breath caught. About what? About leaving without asking. About assuming instead of listening. About believing I knew what you wanted when I was afraid of what you might say. Her eyes stung. She had rehearsed this moment 1,000 times alone, but now that it was real, the truth rose unbidden. I should have told you the truth, she said. I thought protecting you meant carrying it alone. I didn't realize I was actually pushing you away. Years ago, she'd hidden a job offer overseas, convinced distance would destroy them, and that staying would cost him his dreams. He discovered it by accident. Silence had grown where trust once lived. I never stopped loving you, Daniel said. His voice was steady, but his hands trembled slightly. I just didn't know how to come back. Lena looked at him, really looked, and saw the man she had loved and the man he had become. I don't want to lose years anymore, she said softly. Not to fear. Not to pride. The music swelled. Laughter drifted from across the room. The world continued, unaware of the small miracle unfolding beneath a sprig of green leaves. Daniel gestured upward. So, does the tradition still apply? She smiled, then fully, warmly, with hope shining through old hurt. Only if we mean it. He leaned in slowly, giving her time to pull away. She didn't. The kiss was gentle, unhurried, tasting of forgiveness and possibility. It wasn't about reclaiming the past, it was about choosing the future. Applause erupted somewhere nearby as the next auction item was announced. They laughed, startled, stepping back but not letting go of each other's hands. Coffee? Daniel asked. Tomorrow? Tomorrow, Lena agreed. And maybe. Many days after that, under the mistletoe, surrounded by light and second chances, they stayed just a moment longer, two hearts finally brave enough to begin again. We're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers. If you enjoyed this content and want to support the channel, please take a second to subscribe.